The studio behind Arc Raiders just made a huge announcement that you might not have seen. In a blog post to their website this morning on October 9th, Virgil, the senior technical designer at Embark Studios, announced that Arc Raiders will not be doing a mandatory progression wipe similar to what we've seen in other extraction games like Escape from Tarkov or Dark and Darker, and instead will be using a voluntary system that they have named the Expedition Project. Now, in a mandatory wipe, at least in the games that I mentioned, everyone's progress, including the contents of your inventory and your character level, are reset back to the starting point, putting everybody back on the same playing field, whether they like it or not, in an attempt to keep the game fresh for long-term replay value and to also reset the player market. However, some people see mandatory wipes as almost a band-aid mechanic and something that might not be needed anymore in this genre. Now, what Arc Raiders is offering is to leave that decision entirely up to the player. This quote from the blog post this morning says, quote, "In the full game, players will have access to a feature called Projects. At level 20, the first major project players will have access to is the Expedition Project. Upon completion, this project makes a character reset available. If a player completes a reset, they will be able to do so again, so long as they complete another one of these projects. The Expedition Project will operate on a repeating cycle of roughly 8 weeks. During the course of these 8 weeks, players can contribute toward and make progress on their Expedition Project, which will overall be a somewhat large time investment. At the start of the 8th week, the ability to finalize the project will become available and will remain available for the entire week. If a player has fulfilled all of the necessary stages of the project, they will be able to commit to completing the expedition during this period. Should a player's project not be ready during the window to complete the Expedition Project, their progress will be kept, allowing them to continue working on the project until the next finalization window, which we imagine is 8 weeks later. Now, we don't have all the details necessarily, and we have yet to see this in practice, but it sounds like they're trying to show a lot of respect for the player's time. Obviously, not everyone has the same amount of free time to game, so I imagine whatever it is you need to complete during the 8-week cycle won't actually take you 8 weeks of grinding and will actually be obtainable by anyone. So what is there to lose from wiping your account, and what is there to gain? The post goes on to confirm that upon choosing to wipe your account, you will lose, quote, anything inherent to your character's progress, level, skills, items, inventory, workshop, crafting capabilities, etc. However, the player will keep cosmetics earned or purchased, awards, achievements, rankings, etc. Essentially, anything rooted solely in the metagame or involving real money will obviously be preserved. So the question is, what is the incentive to choose to wipe your character and lose everything? Well, they go on to confirm that while they are still finalizing the exact details, generally resetting your progress will reward the player with permanent account unlocks, unique cosmetics, and account buffs, in quotes, for the duration of the expedition cycle that actually can be increased with additional completions of the Expedition Project. Now, they continue to emphasize that they are being very cautious about the nature of these buffs and that they won't provide the player with any power or combat advantages against someone who has not completed a reset and instead will be centered around cosmetics, bragging rights, quality of life, and smoothing out some aspects of progression for those who have gone through a reset. In fact, they actually mentioned earlier in this article that if you complete an expedition, you will be able to skip a lot of the new player onboarding and tutorials and even have all the maps and other features unlocked already that you wouldn't have as a brand new player, which I thought was a nice touch. They end the blog post by stating that, quote, "It's not a silver bullet and won't achieve the clean break that a mandatory global reset does, but it does aim to be more equitable to all players. Wherever possible, we want to value your time spent in the game as much as you do." Of course, this is a complex topic, so we'll be keeping an eye on discussion around this message and follow up as necessary. Thank you for all your interest and passion for Arc Raiders. I look forward to seeing you topside. Virgil. So I know it's a lot to take in, but I really think this is a huge step in the right direction for extraction games by putting control in the player's hands and letting them choose whether they want to continue to progress their account or take the plunge into an expedition and possibly be rewarded with something really cool. I know, at least from my experience in games like Escape from Tarkov, that the wipe day can feel like a national holiday among that community, and while it is fun seeing everyone run around naked with an SKS for a few days, I think what Embark is doing with this 8-week cycle for expeditions will actually have a similar effect with a lot of people resetting their progress around the same time. If nothing else, it's exciting to see someone trying a new approach to this part of extraction games, and it's obvious that a lot of thought went into this, and I'm sure we haven't even seen everything yet. But anyway, what do you guys think about this news? Are you more excited for Arc Raiders? Less excited? Do you prefer a mandatory or voluntary wipe system? Did you already buy the cowboy hat bundle for Scrappy? These are the important questions that I want to know the answers to, so please sound off in the comments. Also, don't forget that Arc Raiders is having a 3-day Server Slam open test October 17th through the 19th that is available to everyone. And I'm actually going to be releasing a new video with all the details about that very soon. Please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video if you guys are excited for this game as I am, and I'm going to be covering a lot of topics leading up to the release and would love to share them with you all as well. I'll also be streaming this game nonstop on my Twitch channel, which you can find in the description below, so I hope to see you come by the stream. Thanks for watching. Oh my god!
What the fuck, man?
I'm on it! I am the Arc Raider! Ah! Ah!